friends, and welcome back to Swift Lessons for another by request song tutorial. In today's session, I'm going to be breaking down Eric Clapton's 1992 unplugged version of Tears in Heaven. Now, this lesson goes out to Isaac Chase and Rifki Rinaldi. Thanks guys for requesting this song. If you, the viewers at home, have a song that you would like for me to teach next, click through the link in the description to swiftlessons.com and put in that request now. Okay, so we're going to get started with a full demonstration of the tune. I invite you to follow along using the tab at patreon.com/swiftlessons. Now, let's get started. 1, 2, 3, 4. Would you know my name if I saw you in heaven? Would it be the same if I saw you in heaven? I must be strong and carry on, 'cause I know I don't belong here in heaven. Would you hold my hand if I saw you in heaven? Would you help me stand if I saw you in heaven? I'll find my way through night and day, 'cause I know I just can't stay here in heaven. Time can bring you down, time can bend your knees. Time can break your heart, have you begging please, begging please. Beyond the door, there's peace, I'm sure, and I know there'll be no more tears in heaven. Would you know my name if I saw you in heaven? Would it be the same if I saw you in heaven? I must be strong and carry on, 'cause I know I don't belong here in heaven. 'Cause I know I don't belong here in heaven. Okay, close look at the fretboard and also my pick in hand, getting started with the intro section. We're in standard tuning, key of A major. It's gonna sound like this, nice and slow. A 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 1. Okay, let's break that down. Okay, so that began with a short little riff. 0 hammer into 2 on the low E string, and then the open A string. All right, very recognizable. Now, I'm using my thumb to hammer on that low E string, but if you'd like, you can use your index finger. Okay, that might be easier for some of you, especially if you have smaller hands. Okay, next, we're going to bar an A major chord shape, and we're going to play. Okay, so that was the open A string, 2nd fret of the G string, then we're going to play. So that was 2 hammering up to 3 on the B string, and then pulling back off to 2. Then go to the G string and pluck. And do your best to copy my fingers here. Okay, designating my thumb to the low notes and my index finger to the G string, my middle finger generally going to the B string. Okay, put that together and we have. Next, we're going to a chord called E/G sharp 4. Okay, so that's the 4th fret of the low E string, also the G string, and the 5th fret of the B string. And I'm going to be playing all the strings at once, back to the bass, and then to the highs by themselves. So far you have. Okay, coming out of that chord, we're going to go to F sharp minor 4. Okay, which will sound out of rhythm unless you play the chord before it. That's because that F sharp minor is coming in kind of a half a beat early. Okay, so what you're doing there is you're playing the low E string, 2nd fret, and you're going to be grabbing the 2nd frets of the G and the B string. Now Clapton's playing a full F sharp minor 7 chord shape, but he's not actually using most of that chord. So if you'd like to, you could just bar and leave it alone like that, or you could actually use your thumb on the low E string and get all of those notes that way. Okay, if you're going to do that, it would sound like this. Okay, so that was all 3 strings, then bass, bass, the highs, and then back to the bass. Okay, now putting all that together so far we have. Okay, then we're going to go to an A major chord again, but this time put the low E string in the bass and play. Bass, bass, high, bass. And remember, whenever you go to the highs, it's that G and that B string. So, now that completes line number 1 if you're following along using your tab at patreon.com/swifflessons. Now, make sure that you can count that. A 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and... Okay, now looking at the 2nd line of this intro section, we're going to play. Okay, so grab yourself a D chord shape, put F sharp in the bass on the low E string 2nd fret, and play. All 3 strings, the bass, the highs, back to the bass. Okay, put that together. Then take the thumb off and have the low E string, all 3 strings, the bass. Then you're going to repeat that same picking pattern as you take your index finger and bring it down to the 1st fret. Now this makes this chord E7. Okay, all 3 strings followed by the bass. So that measure again. Then go back to the A major chord, put the A string in the bass. Okay, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, now putting that entire intro together with the count. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 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 4. And then that'll get you into the 1st verse. Okay, excellent work everybody. We have the intro section down. Now we're applying much of what we just learned to the verse section. It's going to start off the exact same way. So demonstrating nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so if you're following along using the tab, you'll notice that line number 1 of this verse, we're calling this verse 1A because there's 2 sections to the verse, is exactly the same as the intro, but we did put an extra high note over that A/E chord. So it started off with the same riff. Okay, then go into the E/G sharp, F sharp minor. Then when we go to A/E, we're gonna play. There, you put the highs in on the first beat of that, 1 and 2 and. Now, going to line number 2, we're gonna have the D/F sharp chord. So all the strings, bass, the highs, and then back to the bass. Do the same thing to A/E now. Then we're gonna go to the E major chord for climb. Okay, so that's E major. We're going to be playing all 3 strings, the low E string, the G string, and the B string. Back to the bass. Then go to the highs, but hammer the index finger down. And go back to the bass. Now, we're going to the 2nd fret of the G and the B string with your middle finger and your ring finger. The highs, and then go to the bass. Okay, so. Then finish up by going to 4th fret G string, 3rd fret of the B string. That entire climb. Okay, putting all of verse 1A together. Would you know my name if I saw you in heaven? Okay, if you have that down, now you're ready to move into verse 1B. Okay, very good. Moving right along to verse 1B, this is just going to be a simplified version of what you just played. So instead of doing the fancy riffs over A major, you're just going to play. Okay, so all 3 strings, the A string, G string, and B string. Back to the bass, the highs, the bass. Then transition to the E/G sharp. Okay, to the F sharp minor, just like you did before. Bass, bass, high bass. To the A/E. And then everything's going to be verbatim here on the 2nd line of this. The E climb. To get yourself into the chorus section. Okay, tremendous work everybody. We have the intro and the verse sections complete. Now we're jumping into the chorus section. It's gonna sound like this, nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Okay, let's break that down. Okay, so that was fairly simple. It began with the F sharp minor chord. And again, I'm using the finger positions that Clapton used for the most part, but I do encourage you to find what works for you. As I mentioned before, the F sharp minor can be played as a bar chord, as if it's an F sharp minor 7, but you're not using most of the chord. But you could also thumb the low E string and bar with the index finger. Okay, which might make a little bit more sense, especially if you're gonna play the next chord like this. So I'll show you both ways. So the way Clapton plays it, we're barring the 2nd fret. We've got that 4th fret of the A string like we did before, and we're gonna be playing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so alternating back and forth between the bass and the highs. Now if you want to thumb it, same exact thing. Okay. Next, we're gonna go to a chord called C#/F. Okay, and apply the exact same picking pattern. Okay, so this is my thumb on the low E string, 1st fret, and I've got the 1st fret of the G string and the 2nd fret of the B string. Okay, there's lots of different ways to play this. You could play it like we did our E major / G sharp earlier in the tune. Okay, but I prefer to play it like Clapton, thumb in the low E string. Okay, and then kind of keeping a D major shape here, but back a fret. Okay, so far you have transitioning. Okay, next we're going to take the thumb and index finger off. This is going to be A7/E. Okay, once again repeating that picking pattern. Okay, so if you're going to use all thumb, it could be like this. I must be strong and carry. Okay, now, if you're looking at the tab, we're going down to line 2 of this first chorus. We're going to play Alright, so this is an F♯7 chord. I've got the 2nd fret barred, I've got the 4th fret of the A string, but this time I also have the 3rd fret of the G string, that major 3rd. Okay, so very interesting chord change here. We're going to start off hammering down the middle finger onto the G string. Okay, so I just plucked the low E string, D string, and the G string together as I hammer. Back to the bass, back to the highs, D string and G string this time, back to the bass. Okay, so, or 1 and 2 and. Now on beat number 3, grab the 4th fret of the G string with the pinky, and go back to the bass. Alright, then you're going to do the same thing, but this time grab the 2nd fret of the B string, and then go back to the bass. Real slow, it's going to sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, after that we're going to go to B minor 7. So just take this whole chord and go down 1 string. Now we've got B minor 7, and we're going to apply the picking pattern that we've been using throughout the song. You're going to stop short, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1, and grab the low E string. Now what Clapton does next is he kind of grabs a D major chord shape, okay, and then just plays. Alright, that's the G string and the B string. But really what this chord is functioning as is E7 sus4, okay, because it's the 5 chord, it's the crescendo chord. Okay, so go back to the B minor 7, we're going to play 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1. Okay, but if you wanted to just leave the B minor 7 alone, I don't know why Clapton doesn't do this, but he prefers not to. We could just play it like this. Because you already had those notes inside that chord. Okay? Now, putting together the entire chorus, the F# minor chord. I must be strong, A7/E, and carry on, 'cause I know I don't belong here in heaven. Alright, then that gets you back into the intro section, kind of an intro reprise.